All right, so today I wanted to take a second and talk about what we decided to do for our vegetable garden here in the back of the yard. We decided we wanted to do these grow boxes, and we had to decide what to make them out of, or what material to get them out of. When it comes to garden boxes, the way I see it is you can make them out of wood, you can do vinyl like we did, you can do metal, or you can do cement. And we kind of juggled with these. When we thought about getting wood, right, the cheapest option is just to get regular wood. But honestly, regular wood rots the fastest. Wood that won't rot as quickly is cedar. Cedar does much better for material for something like this. It's on the ground. A lot of fences are made out of cedar, but it's still going to rot eventually, but it's much better than just regular standard pine. And it's a little more expensive. And then the third option for wood would be pressure treated. And I didn't really want to do pressure treated wood by vegetables we're going to eat. I understand it probably would be fine, but I didn't want to risk it. So wood was kind of out of the running. Metal, we thought about, it just was a little more expensive. We found a few kits on Lowe's and Home Depot, but again, kind of expensive. I've seen some people's gardens where they use metal and it looks really good. We weren't even considering vinyl. Vinyl wasn't even on my radar. I was going to make these out of cement. My plan was to get cinder blocks and make these out of cinder blocks, because in my mind, they're made out of cement nowadays. They're not made out of actual cinder anymore. Back in the day when they were made out of cinder, they would leach into the soil near them, and that was not good for vegetable gardens. But now that they're just concrete, just cement, they're fine, in my opinion. I'm pretty sure that they wouldn't have an issue at all, but I liked that they had a permanence to them, and they were relatively inexpensive. I did the math, and I could probably make 3 beds like this for a couple $100 using cinder blocks. And I've also seen some really cool YouTube videos of people who actually keep the cinder blocks uncovered on the top, and they use those as little herb planters, and that's really cool too. Ultimately, why we chose vinyl was I was just doing what I do best as perusing Facebook Marketplace. And when I was perusing Facebook Marketplace, I stumbled upon this deal, and the person was selling all 3 of these for $25 a piece. So we got all 3 of these for $75 total. They are, I want to say they're 18 inches high, maybe 2 feet, but they're 4 feet wide by 8 feet long, and each one is subdivided into 2 different sections. So it's like 6 different 4x4 garden boxes. And the people were awesome. The lady was super nice. I was trying to message her and think of a time to pick them up, and she's like, oh, my husband's gonna be home and we have a horse trailer. And she actually dropped all 3 of these off, and she drove up from the town that's a little bit further south than us. It's probably a 15-minute drive, nothing crazy, but just the fact that they did the hassle of hooking up their horse trailer, loading it all up, and then dropping it off for us just was like the nicest thing. So really stellar deal, super nice lady. When we got the vinyl, we're also really pleasantly surprised because it matches the other vinyl things we put in. It matches the garden fence to keep the dog out. As you can see, the gate's wide open, so he's just roaming around right here. There's no vegetables for him to eat, so it's all right. But it matches the garden fence with the same tops. It's 4x4, just like those posts. It matches our privacy fence. Those are 5x5 posts, but it's the same vinyl look, and it's used vinyl. One of the cons from vinyl is that it will become brittle after a few years. The guy who did our fence, he said that vinyl lasts about 15 years, 10 to 15 years, before the cold really starts to get to it, and then it just turns really brittle. Yeah, so right now we are just trying to fill them. It is October, and we are not going to plant here in the fall. Our plan is just to fill them. We're filling them with grass clippings right now, but we want to pick up some wood, some other leaves. We don't have any trees anywhere near us, so no one's chopping down trees anytime soon. Another thing they came with is each one came with this 4x4 heavy duty piece of plastic. And the lady we bought them from actually made these for them, and she included them. And they have dogs too, but their dogs were allowed to be in the garden area. But in between planting seasons, she said her dogs would crawl through the garden. They would go through these garden boxes and not have anything growing there. They would just get really, really muddy and drag right in the house. And so she sent us those with it, and I think they're going to be a really stellar addition. Another thing is it took us a really long time to decide how we were going to set these out in the garden. We decided to go this way to give lots and lots of room around each one so that we can weed and work around each garden box. But that's kind of why we chose to set them where we set them. So thank you for watching. If you want to see what we do next, see what other improvements we make to our home, other ideas, other choices we're making for our garden, for our home, for our yard, please like and subscribe. We're going to be doing a lot of changes in the future, a lot of improvements. So we'd love it if you are along for the ride. But thank you so much.